Hello and welcome to the training video of TANSCHE. This is a short training video on listening skills under Unit 4 of Professional English for Commerce and Management stream. Well, let's begin. To bring you an outline of this presentation, you will be introduced to the pre-task. A short passage on decision making and management will be read to you. And based on this passage, you will have two tasks which will be explained. So before beginning the pre-task, it will be a good idea to give a brief introduction to listening itself. There are a lot of things to listening, and you have several units which deal with listening skills. So you should not repeat probably some idea which you have spoken about listening skills in one class or as an introduction to one part of the unit. Try getting different aspects of listening each time you and use that as an introduction each time you talk about listening skills. For instance, here a few points on active listening is given for you. The first is to look at the person and immerse in the situation. When you're talking to an individual, look at them, observe them, look at the way they behave, the way they're responding, the way they emote and so on, and immerse in that particular context and stop talking. Only when you stop talking, you'll be able to actively listen to what the person is trying to say and observe the tone in which they're expressing. They might say something really happy, but the tone can be very depressing. So that way you can read between the lines or listen between the lines, and that is the essence of active listening. You also should have to empathize with the person who is talking. And finally, look out for the non-verbal clues. Okay, so you can give a brief introduction, something like this, and then go on to explain the pre-task. So this is a pre-task activity for you. As you can see, there are two columns, column A, column B. It's a very simple activity. You have to ask them to match the words in column A with the meaning of it in column B. Alright, so you can give them probably 2 minutes to ask them to do it. Well, should they refer to a dictionary? Yes, of course they can, because all of them are going to come with the smartphone. Ask them to maybe collaborate with the person sitting next to them and let them find out the meaning of these words. So this is like a warm-up activity before you venture into the actual lesson. So after they come up with the answers, after the 2 minutes is passed, and the 2 minutes you have to be really exact with that. Maybe you can keep the time using your mobile or any other watch or whatever convenient means you have in order to see the time. Check the time, and once the 2 minutes is passed, immediately you can give them the answers. So these are the answers for you. All right. With that, we go on to the next passage, which is decision making. This is a small introduction on decision making. So what you have to do is to read this passage slowly to the students. So the pre-task was trying to get them engaged in identifying the meanings. And once they've identified the meanings and then you give out the answers, probably you can ask them how many of you have got all of the words correct, and then you could probably appreciate them and then go on to this. So you'll tell them, okay, I'm going to read a passage. I'm going to read it very slowly. You have to listen to it very carefully, because after this I'm going to ask you some questions. The better thing that you can do is actually to give them the questions. Of course, they're going to have their textbooks. So that's a great advantage for the learners. So let them already go through these questions so that they can anticipate what passage they are listening to, or what is the information they're going to listen in the passage that you're going to read. Sort of like what you do in the IELTS exam, in the listening part of IELTS exam. The questions are already given, and the people who are taking up the exam, they go through these questions and be prepared for the person who is reading. Okay, so since they have their books already with them, the questions already with them, you can probably tell them, this is what you have to do. Listen as I read this passage, and then you will be given a particular time for you to fill up the answers. Okay, so you can read the passage that's before you, read it very slowly, something like this. Decision making is an action consciously chosen from available alternatives with the purpose of achieving desired objectives. It is a set of activities that structure the process and facilitates the choice. Decisions are focused on a particular problem or challenge. Decision making doesn't mean problem analysis. It is a mean to solve problems and is an integral part of the management system of the organization. The following is the sequence of decision making process: sense decision requirement, gather information and analyze the cause, identify the alternatives, compare and evaluate, make a choice, implement your choice, review and feedback. All organizations strive hard to achieve their goals and objectives. Taking a proper decision at a proper time will help the organization to achieve its objectives, and so on. So this is how you need to read to them very slowly and carefully, and once that is done, we'll go on to the first activity, which is simple activity. Fill in the blanks with the suitable words or phrases given in the bracket. So you already have the words that are given. So ask them to look at the words and then look at each sentence. So they will know what kind of answer they have to anticipate. So based on that, they're going to fill this up. So you read the passage once, and once you're done reading it, then you can ask them to fill it up. Again, give them 1 or 2 minutes to help them to fill this up. And these are the answers. Decision making is a process of choosing between alternatives. Analyze the situation and take a proper decision. Taking proper decision at proper time will help achieving organizational goals and objectives. Tight decision helps to manage all business affairs. Proper decision making facilitates innovation. Okay, so again, here you can either make them do it by themselves, or it can be a collaborative work, but this is better for them to do it on their own. The pre-task can be like a collaborative work because you're getting all of them together, and this one, let them individually work on it because they are going to sharpen their listening skills through this activity. So this is the third and the final activity when it comes to the listening skills. This is again a very simple activity. Say whether the following statements are true or false. As simple as that. They just have to identify whether it is true or false. So the answers are already here for you. So you need to already have the answers with you. Okay, and the students will again be given some time to work on each question and to find out whether it's true or false. Probably for this particular exercise, you can ask them to collaborate, maybe 2 in a group or 3 in a group, or tell them to form their convenient groups and find out whether these statements are true or false. In addition to this, what could also be done is, when the exercise is over, you can probably ask them, the person who is identified for 1 or for 2 or for 3rd or the 4th or the 5th one, you can ask them to explain why it is true, or you can ask them to explain why it is false. So anyone in random, you can ask them to explain, why do you think this is a false statement, why do you think it's a true statement, and with that you can wind up the listening activity. Okay, so that's about it for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. More to follow. Take care.